Opening business in Switzerland is tempting but risky. It's really hard to open your bank account because they might block your funds, doubting the origin. However, there are so many advantages such as stable legal system or low tax rate that attract so many businessmen from all over the world. So let's listen to those who know more about it. Bernard, could you please tell me why do foreigners open a business in Switzerland?
Of course, there can be many criteria. I would say the main ones is that that way they can easier penetrate the Western market, if I can say so, by bringing at the same time a kind of Swiss-made label, even if nothing is produced here. But for other people, they have then the idea to buy or to collaborate with a Swiss company, even if everything is done abroad. So this is one of the points. The other points is that they can find quite easily on the Swiss market high-skilled multilingual staff, because beside everything what people say about Switzerland, we have about 25% of our people who are foreigners. Then they have the opportunity to collaborate with universities and high technical schools. This is one point. And sometimes more simple reason, they can secure their investments here in setting up a company in a very safe, low frame, especially for IP. And they know that if they invest here, nobody can take this money, which is not always the case, depending where the investors come from. And the last reason is sometimes just to get a residence permit in Switzerland. And one of my clients told me once that she decided to come to Switzerland because she didn't want that her son goes to the army when he will be grown up. Just to avoid this, she decided to come, of course. I hope it's not the main reason, but it was one of her reasons.
That's interesting. But what type of business is most popular in Switzerland?
Well, nowadays I would say we have two different kinds of. Is one in IT field, so people who are developing very complicated softwares, and the other is in trading. Of course, the ones who are active in ITs, they are coming here first of all to finish to develop their softwares in collaboration with our technical high schools, and of course then also to benefit of this kind of Swiss label, as I told before. And the other ones who are active in trading companies, they are then quite close of quite important centers of trading in Europe. Geneva is one of them, for example. And they are then happy to come here for two reasons, I would say. The first one is that they have really easy bank transactions process, sometimes much more easier than in other countries. And the other one is the quite low tax rates they can benefit being here.
But what has changed over the past years?
I would say the main thing which has changed is the compliance process of the banks. It has been more and more difficult throughout these years to be able to open a bank account, especially coming from abroad. We have always been told that Switzerland is the basis for money laundering, for criminal money, for tax avoidance, etc. So now the Swiss authorities decided that we have to become the first of the class, and especially the banks, after having faced important taxes to pay to foreign countries, especially we heard in the US or in France and so on. So they try to be the first of the class in everything. So it has become really more and more difficult to open a bank account, especially if you are not a non-active company. Non-active means you don't have employees and you don't have premises in Switzerland. So starting with this, if you have already these two conditions fulfilled, it makes things easier to open a bank account. Then, of course, the bank wants more and more to know where does the money come from the beginning on, from the shareholders, and then the future money flow.
But what is the most difficult in the process of opening a company in Switzerland?
As I just said, it's really to open the bank account. Once you have passed this step, all the rest will be really, really easy. And the second point that people have faced as problem is to transfer money here to Switzerland to open the bank account. Because depending on which country they come from, they have huge controls in their countries, and they have to justify, etc.
But could you please tell us about the process of opening a company in Switzerland?
So once, and come back to the bank, once the bank problem is solved, the banks have approved that you open the bank account to them, then all the rest is quite easy, because then you go to the notary, you tell him what you want to open, this kind of company, who will be director, how much capital, what kind of shares, and so on. Then he prepares the draft. And maybe some days later, you can come to him and sign the papers, as far as, of course, the money for the capital has been transferred on time. And then you count again, maybe 10, 15 days maximum, and your company is open, is registered, and you can start to work.
Thank you very much, Bernard, for sharing this information with us. Today with us was Bernard Jarman, the partner of the Fiduciaire company, and me, Sofia Bisbogina, the journalist of the Expert magazine, with the support of Dukascopy TV. See you soon again.